the first weeks, you first get a letter that you're going to be inducted in the Army. And then you go to a Dunkard office and you sign papers, and then you go on a train, and they never tell you where you're going. We were going day and night for 3 days and 4 nights to our destination. That was Fort Lewis, Washington, on the west coast. So everybody was hungry. We got off the train, we formed a line, we met the sergeants, the colonels, and we went to eat. Then we went to the barracks. In the barracks, we were assigned beds. There were 40 men to a barrack, upstairs and downstairs. And we had to get up at 6 in the morning, go outside, we were formed. Each man was assigned to not each man, but a lot of men, 7 or 8. This is the beginning, see? So the beginning was just get up in the morning early and teach the normal procedures of the Army life, and this continued until 5 in the afternoon. Then we all got into the barracks and we ate supper, and we were confined for 13 weeks. You know what that means?
Yeah, kept inside.
Kept inside. We couldn't even go to town. After 13 weeks, we were given the smartest men were leaders. So it took me a few months, and then I was picked as a leader. And then I became a sergeant. So I don't think you cared much about this, do you?
Well, yeah, I just want to learn a lot about what went on.
The life was hectic. It was rough. It was tough. We'd go on marches. We'd go overnight marches, come right back 25 miles, and come back, go to the barrack, wash up, and eat, and different exercises, but mostly it was the marches that we had to make. And every night, the whole Army went out in the field where they had a band, and we had to march for an hour. And then we'd go back to the barracks and do the same thing over and over. But we had different problems. We stayed overnight, and some guys dropped out. They couldn't make it. So I helped them out. I helped carry their bag or whatever they carried. Then I was put in a machine gun outfit. Then I was a sergeant of a machine gun outfit. I had 14 men. I had a half a platoon, 2 squads. Each squad was 7 men. It was a first gunner, second gunner, third gunner, ammunition carrier, and we kept doing that for about a year. Well, then I asked to go overseas, and the captain wouldn't let me go.
Why wouldn't he let you go?
Because he says, we need a good man. We need a good man over here. You're doing wonderful. That's why we made the sergeant out of you.
Oh.
With the new recruits that were coming in.
So
I was doing the same thing over and over.
So what were you doing as a sergeant? You were just...
Well, I took care of these men.
Oh, with the machine guns?
There were 4 squads after that, 7, 14, 21, 28, 28 men. And they were with me. As soon as I drilled them and took care of them, after their 13 weeks of basic training, they were shipped out. Another bunch came in.
Oh.
And this was going on steady and steady. I had another sergeant stayed. And so before that happened, we were guarding planes. We were in a place called, what was the name of that? Air base. And I guarded a B-47, the first 47 that came in. And my orders were not to let anyone in those planes until they knew their
identification.
They had to know their secret word.
Oh, secret word. Oh.
Yeah. If they knew it, if the captain knew it, or general, I wouldn't even let a general go in because he didn't know the password. Because we didn't know during World War II who it was. It could have been somebody else.
Could have been spy.
It could have been some German or that. So one time he knew the password, and I had to go in the plane with him.
Oh.
Him and the pilot, co-pilot, and then one of the big B-47s. We transported this general to the Aleutian Islands. That was rough over there, so. And I stayed with the plane, with the pilot, co-pilot. When he got off, and G picked him up, and then we jumped back in the plane, we took off, and come back to our airport. At one time. Another time, we were guarding the Pacific coast, and that's where the jets were coming. Mm-hmm. And we had the machine gun over here. I had 4 machine guns, one here, and the whole line about a mile. Our coast was so much, 1 mile, and we had them placed, and all of a sudden, we had wires and fences with
barbed wire
in front, about half a mile towards the ocean. Anybody would come in, and bells were strong, and then they would ring.
Did you have mines in the sand too?
Huh?
Did you have mines? Bombs in the ground?
No. That time yet, because we weren't invaded.
Oh.
But this was the time that the submarines invaded our west coast.
Oh, okay.
And then they crawled up. We heard them crawl. It was at night, dark. First of all, they lobbed one of them big bullets. I don't know.
Torpedoes?
Big, that thing went over our heads. Jerk. And it landed out in the field behind us about a mile. That was the first time that... Oh, I shut that out. Well, now, that didn't ring, though. Somebody does it all the time. Every day they do that.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties.
Hello? No?
All right. You can just keep that.
So we...
Okay.
Now nobody's going to answer. Those were full on the radio. At that time there were no TVs. That big bomb or whatever it's called, nobody knew what it was, because when it landed it
Wiped out?
and there was the invasion, everybody was scared. There was the invasion of the United States, the Pacific coast.
And who invaded? Was it the...
Huh?
Who invaded?
Germany.
Germany?
Japs.
The Japs? Oh.
Yeah. They got in here. So I called in to the barracks, and then told them that it flew over our heads. So trucks and sirens and floodlights and everybody came in from the whole company I'm in came in, but we put the floodlights on the beach and we couldn't find them no more. And then we discovered that there was a 3-man submarine.
Oh.
A small one, just enough for 3 men. They were making those. So after that, we were so scared. Everybody was so scared, especially the Pacific coast, that they were training right on that beach, day and night, for about 4 months, but nothing happened.
Oh.
But then I had to go and we had to, the Japs, they were on the West Coast, mostly a lot of rich Japanese. We escorted them all out from the West Coast. Everyone that was living there on the West Coast, thousands and thousands of them, and we put them in a compound with barbed wire, and they lived in those little homes. Whether they were guilty or not, but just because Japs did that, we had to take care of them guys, and we got them all out of the United States from the West Coast. And they lived in a...
So those are on the... They were like little houses on the West Coast?
Yeah, the little shacks. The United States Army was building little shacks for them to live. They had to, but when we went in their cellars in Seattle on the West Coast, they had all kinds of computers, but they weren't computers then, but there were radios and signals, and we all thought that they were sending them. That's why the Japs came over with their little submarine, but they didn't, it wasn't that, but the United States got orders from the president to get rid of all the Japanese from down the West Coast. And those poor guys, whether they were United States citizens or not, but they were Japanese, so they had to go.
They had to do it,
And that was part of my job. Now, when this was clear, the second year, the new 17, 18, 19-year-old recruits were coming. Then I had to go and
take care of them.
Take care of them, and I slept in bed maybe, of my 3 years in the service, I slept in bed, I don't know, about 3 weeks. The rest was out in the open, in the mud, in the water. And it was our canteen, the water in the canteen that froze overnight.
Oh, really?
It was so cold, and we slept right on the ground. And then we had pup tents, and we had to make them at night. I had to teach the guys how to do it at night. No lights, nothing. And these kids, after were sent away, then I came back to the barracks, me and 2 other sergeants. Stayed a week, another gang would come in. That was happening steady. So there wasn't much. I asked to go 3 or 4 times, and the captain and the lieutenant says no. He says, your job is over here. It's more important than you get out there and get shot. And I said, but I'm getting tired of this. I says, 2 years, 2.5 years of doing the same thing over and over. So no, and finally I contacted my ear, some of them to my ear, so they were giving me aspirins. And then I couldn't hear nothing, then I was getting the headaches. And then I finally got sick. I got a fever of 104, and they put me in the hospital, and I was getting worse, and the army doctors didn't know what was wrong. They knew it was the ear, but I had infection from all this. So the doctors, I was getting worse and worse, and the fever went to 105. I knew I was laying there, but I didn't know where I was, and I was in the hospital all this time. So then they got a doctor from Seattle, Washington, private doctor, and he came over and he started giving me penicillin, and that's when penicillin came out in 1943. First time, did you ever hear of penicillin?
Yeah, I know. I learned about it.
That came in, and that penicillin got my temperature down from 105 to 101. But I was there 3 months in the hospital.
With 105, you were almost dead.
Almost dead, yeah. Almost, but I was strong enough to want to survive this, and I wanted to get out. See, I was 31 years old already. So I stayed in the hospital 3 months until I come back. And then from the hospital, they come and interviewed me. I says, I'd like to be back in the service. I would like to be MP, because the MPs were riding trains.
Oh.
The MPs, the military police.
Oh.
They'd be riding the trains to make sure that when you're in a train, you don't get rambunctious. You don't shoot dice or nothing. You just stay there. No, you were too sick. So they discharged me with 101 fever. They were so, they had to make room in the hospitals because the guys were coming in. And that's where I got my discharge and I came home. And that's why they gave me this hearing aid. But the Army life that I had, I wouldn't wish that on a dog, because it was terrible. The same thing over and over. But I made sergeant, so they kept me. And this tree was, and that wasn't only an hour camp. Fort Lewis was the biggest camp in the West Coast. And there were thousands and thousands of young boys, 18, 17, 18, mostly National Guard. They joined the National Guard figuring they wouldn't go into service, and they got them anyway. So that's as close as I came, but I went through it when I flew with the plane with the general. We were fired on. The Japs fired on us. And
when you were with the general, they fired on you?
Yeah, in the plane. Because I guarded that plane, and nobody could take it until they gave me the order to do so. The general says, yes, he knew the password. He says, Sergeant, we gotta have that plane. You gotta ship me over to another base past Alaska and Guadalcanal. So when we were going, the Japs were there, they were firing at us, but they never could hit us. We were too high.
Oh.
They didn't have their guns like they have now.
Yeah.
They just regular machine guns, a regular pistol. I carried a pistol, a machete. You know what a machete is?
Yes, long knife.
Big knife like that, a big blade. So I helped a lot of these kids. The machine gun. One time we were on maneuvers, and 2 o'clock in the morning, and one of my gunners couldn't carry the gun anymore. We were going about 15 miles then, and he had to carry the tripod, you know the tripod,
yeah.
And the barrel of the machine gun on top of the tripod. And then all of a sudden he was hollering, he couldn't carry it anymore, so I had a 60-pound pack. Every soldier had a 60-pound pack. And the machine gun was 60 pounds. So the 120 pounds, I took the machine gun, I took it on my...
So you had 120 pounds in your back?
120 pounds. I only walked about a half a mile, and I couldn't see. I fell in a hole. My right leg, and I flopped down on my face, and my stomach. and I ruined my back. So they picked me up and they took me back to the barracks about 10, 15 miles. And I was in a hospital there.
And that guy
I
couldn't.
ruined my ankle and my back.
That guy couldn't carry his gun at all.
The guys didn't carry guns, they carried pistols.
Oh.
The machine gunners.
Oh.
Because they were in a heavy weapons outfit. We were firing those big bullets that you put in that little can, what you call them, and then they shoot up.
Oh.
Drop it down and then you go like this and then
Kind of like a ground gun type thing. There's a.
what do you call it? See, I forget already, but there were it's a canister like this with a big pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drop the big 45s in there and they shoot up.
You shoot up.
And they'd go maybe half a mile or a mile. Yeah. But that's all. All this was. I got pictures over here.
Can you show us some of them?
Huh?
Can you show some of them?
Oh yeah, I got some of them here. Come on over here. You can see it. Got my stripes. This is the little flashlight we had. Did you ever see one of those?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, something like that.
These are all. This is a stone from the west coast, from the beach that when they fired it. There's a ring. This is what we had to carry at all times. You know what this is?
Dog tag?
Dog tags, yes. Look how old they are. They're getting rusty. See my name and what company and
Yeah.
and when we were supposed to be captured by enemy soldiers, you only gave your rank, serial number, and that's all. You wouldn't even tell what army. This is the one. See?
Those are the bullets?
Those are the ones that go in a rifle. You push them in a rifle, then you squeeze the trigger, and the 6 of them go out at once. I don't know what this is. Those are some of my insignias, see?
What are those books there you got?
We had a book, whatever we did. That's an empty one. No, that's a full one, see it? There's another one. These are all the same. Those are 30s.
30s, huh?
30 caliber. Now
Can I see the 30 ones?
Huh?
Can I see the 30 caliber one?
That's the same thing
Oh,
there.
same thing? Okay.
Here's a 30 caliber. You gotta be careful. There's
Right.
powder in them. Don't watch that one shoot out. These are all 30 caliber. These in a pistol that I had. I carried a pistol, like I said, a machete. There's another one. I had some that what the stuff that we ate, that dry cereal, and I don't know what happened to that. Here's another one. That's our outfit. That's how they could tell which outfit. Now here's a smaller one right here. No, that's the same size.
Oh, same size.
Those are 45 pistol that I carried. So I carried a pistol, a machete, And that's all. I had a rifle, but the rifle I always kept in my Jeep. I didn't need a rifle. I had so much work to do. I couldn't carry a rifle.
What are these books here?
Now these are.
Those are like your diaries?
My
or something?
eyes are bad. Holy crap. Now this, when we first joined, our first day out in the field, on the range, we're firing on the range. I gotta get my other glasses. These are, look how yellow this is. You can't even read the writing. These are what we're in training. I had to take notes.
Oh.
Here. These are the men that I had under me. Those are their names. We have to remember, because there were so many names. After we trained them, then they were shipped out. So that was my duty. These are the scores. See?
The scores?
Scores on a rifle range.
Oh, I see.
We were shooting at them. They were about 300 feet away, these things. And we were laying down on its stomach and we were firing at them. This is another book. Individual score books.
When you were shooting at the guys on the ground,
no,
did any of them get hit?
These are the targets.
Oh.
They were moving targets.
When you were shooting,
there were two guys, in the trench, and they were moving the targets, and we were maybe like from here to the end of the woods, and we were firing at those targets.
Yeah.
And
did any of them get shot? Did they pick their heads up and get shot?
No.
No. I was wondering.
I think it's in there. Where the machine guns. That was for real. See, every day was different. Every day, different training. This, that, this, and some guys, two guys hung themselves.
Hung themselves?
Across my barracks.
They committed suicide?
Committed suicide. On the rafters, they hung themselves with their belts.
Oh,
They couldn't take it no more.
That's too bad.
It was too tough for them. But I weighed 172 pounds when I went in, and when I went out, I weighed 135. And they were good. They ate good, but I mean, we lost so much weight going on the go all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. That's too bad that I haven't got anything more.
That's okay. This is good what you have here.
Individual scorebooks. These are from the captain and generals. They wrote all this out. I had to write everything out to know what I'm doing, so I won't forget. There's so many orders. If you want to see that.
Are these your stripes?
Those are stripes, yeah. Corporal and sergeant. And these are my 44th Division. See, I was in the 44th Division.
Oh, I see.
This was on
your arm.
On my army coat. But the rest is Jake. Never got him back. I had some other stuff there.
Okay.
So Teddy was.
Is Teddy your brother?
He's a brother, one of my brothers.
Oh, your brothers. Okay.
And they jumped. They jumped. He was in a 101 airborne outfit. They jumped 3 different battles. In the last battle, they were held up by the Germans, and he got out of his foxhole because they didn't eat for 3 days. The trucks couldn't come in because they were all stuck. They were held up by the enemy. So he says he crawled out of his foxhole and the bullet come out, one of those big 30 calibers they shot, and exploded, and it hit him in the back. Shrapnel went through his arm, and he lay there for a day and a half before the medics could get at him.
Did he lose his hand, the whole
He lost his hand.
hand?
So here they took him to the hospital, and they cut his hand here. So from here to here, it was like a stick. But from here to here, it was all muscle, because he was a boxer. He was a sergeant of the 101st Airborne. Uncle Al, he drove the truck, and on the invasion, the third day of the invasion in Normandy, they went in there, and they drove over a creek or someplace like that, and he was pretty good, but he was only 5'2". He was always short,
Very small.
small. So I says, no wonder the bullets didn't get you. He said they went over your head all the time. But he was in a division where they had trucks. He was transporting soldiers back and forth and transporting material in the kitchen. But I mostly ate out in the field. Always. I very seldom ate in the barracks, because I was training them guys all the time. So I feel sorry for the guys that got killed.
So you think
somebody had to train them.
You think in general it's war is a really bad thing? You feel?
Huh?
What do you feel about war in general, based on your experience? What do you think?
The kind of training we got is, if they didn't listen to your sergeant, if they didn't tell you, if they didn't do what you told them to do, they would be living, half of them today. But they were goofing off, you know what I mean by goofing off? They didn't care. They could holler at them and everything. And
that's how mistakes happened, right?
And that's where the mistakes happened, because they didn't sink into their brain. And that's why they had to have somebody good that was training them. So in our outfit, and the 4 squads that went over, 3 of them came back. Only 1 squad of 8 men got killed. They never come back. But there were so many squads further on that got killed, because like I said, they were goofing off. They didn't care. So we had to dig foxholes with our mess gear. You know what a mess gear is?
No.
It's a plate like that you carry, that you put your food in. And we had to dig, in case we didn't have a shovel. We had a trench shovel that we carried in the back. We had to dig foxholes and lay in them foxholes, and day and night sometimes. But
now, what did you?
But some of them that didn't care to do that, we made them dig it with the cover of the mess gear. It was a little thin cover.
What did you eat when you were in those foxholes?
A mess truck would come.
Oh.
And then the kitchen truck would come, and then we all line up at night, so nobody could see us, and we didn't know whether it was bugs or. Sometimes during the maneuvers I had spiders with them big legs, and I had to dish them out from the mess gear that we had, throw them out because you were so hungry, and then you ate.
Yeah.
And they had to keep looking.
So what kind of food was it, though? Was it?
Food wasn't too bad, no, but by the time you got it, it was cold.
Oh, yeah.
Half the time.
Because in the night.
And then we had to wash. We didn't have no water, so we had to wash the mess gear in dirt, get the grease out, and wipe it off with dirt, and then wipe the dirt right off and put it back in your pack.
Now, what did you do, like, with Grandma? Did you write letters to her and stuff when you were?
When we were in the barracks, yes, but I very seldom was in the barracks.
Oh.
So whenever we got to the barracks, then I wrote. See, we would stay in the barracks about 3 weeks and wait for another gang of young recruits to come. Then when they came, then We had to start all over again. Train them for 13 weeks.
Mhm.
Then they were shipped out. And this included all this training. So that was that. And it wasn't easy. Like I said, that if I didn't get sick, if I didn't get this ear business, that I would have probably never been here. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because
It's better off having the ear
I
than
was
being dead.
bothering the. I went to see the general, and I says, I can't take this anymore. I said, I'd rather go and help the guys out overseas. And sorry, Sergeant, you're wanted here badly, and that's where I got that medal,
Mhm.
and it's gone.
I lost it.
It was a good life. I didn't care to come back, really. After 3 years,
What would you
so
tell?
I suffered.
What would you tell someone who's getting in the Army now? Say I wanted to do it, and I wanted to get in the Army. What would you say?
Today it's different.
It's different.
Different. You've got barracks, clean barracks. You've got homes almost. And today you've got places where you can go shoot pool, and you can take off to go downtown whenever you wanted. The nearest town would be probably 6-7 miles. You wait for a bus, the bus would pick you up. Out you went. We couldn't. See, the war was so fierce, and it happened so fast. They couldn't get enough men to hold these Germans up. The Germans had a powerful army, powerful. They themselves occupied Poland, occupied France, Africa. They were all over. Italy, and we all had the guys that I trained, half of them, they would have to go from Africa to Sicily, to Italy, to France. Then we finally got them in Germany. And Hitler gave up his life because he was losing. But you gotta give him credit. We had about 7 or 8 armies. We had France on our side, we had Poland on our side, but Poland was the first one that was hit, invaded. 14 days they were gone. All gone.
So what went
Whole
after
country.
Poland?
Germany occupied it, and then they started concentration camps.
Oh yeah. Did you get
And
to see?
they were lousy, rotten. They killed hundreds of thousands of young kids in the concentration
Did you ever go to one? Did you ever see?
No, we had pictures of it. They were, after the war, when I was in the hospital, we had something to do for the guys that were sick, so they had a camera on the screen and they were showing the pictures. And last week, they had it on TV in Dachau camp, and they showed a whole camp, German camps that they had, where they burned all these people in gas chambers. Poland suffered the most, and the Jews.
They had a thing in the college that I went to in school.
And the Jews,
For the Holocaust.
So they suffered. Today, these kids they don't want to believe that this has happened. They won't believe it. The younger kids, they're starting OSS gangs in Germany, in Poland, skinheads they call them over here, but they're trying to stop them now in Germany because they claim this has never happened. This has never happened. They won't believe it. Can't make them believe it. So the kids today, of course, they're brought up entirely different. In 1942, these kids were hungry. They were brave. They were tough. Some of them cried when we first started. I had 2 boys that were crying every night. They didn't want to sleep. They wanted to go home, go home, go home. I talked to them like a doctor, like a psychologist. And I would talk to them, and they felt a little better. We had a medic that went with us wherever we went. He carried big packs. could have turkey, chicken, pork chops. I never see that. When I was in with the infantry, for 2 months we didn't have any coffee. So we ate those bouillon cubes. You know what the bouillon cubes are?
No, what are they?
Those are cubes. You put them in the water and they dissolve, and then this is what you have for your coffee. 2 months without coffee. And guys didn't care for it at first, but they had to drink something. No milk. Then the gas was rationed in the United States, and we were washing the Jeeps with gas for inspection, so they would pass inspection. That's the, and these people that worked in the plants, they were getting stamps for gas. They could only buy so much gas and no more. And when the stamps were gone, they had to wait another month to get a few more stamps. They couldn't go anywhere.
So you had to get stamps for gas?
No, the army, oh yeah, the people, the civilians.
Yeah.
Each one got so many stamps, and they had to last them for so many days. That's what I was. They were writing to me. My mom wrote letters that when Brownie was still home, no gas. And I says, my Lord, I says, we're washing our Jeeps.
In gas?
With gas, wiping them off. And then it's the Army had the privilege, they had everything.
So now those stamps were used for, what were they used for, buying gas or?
The stamps, yeah, you go to the gas station and one stamp was for so many gallons, and that's
how I see
it that way. So you have to be careful how you use them. And then we had prisoners of war at the fairgrounds.
Oh.
They came and we were watching them, and they were playing volleyball, and they had it good.
The prisoners of
And
war?
Dunkirk, huh?
The prisoners of war?
Prisoners of war.
Playing volleyball?
That we got, yeah. They drove them, they got them all the way to the United States, from Germany, from France.
So
German soldiers.
Germans, so what'd you do with them?
We capped them. We didn't want to send them back in so they could fight again.
I know.
So we sent them back to the States.
Did you let them play volleyball?
They were playing volleyball at the fairgrounds. You know what fairgrounds are?
Yeah.
They slept in those cattle buildings.
Oh.
So I said to myself, look at those. There they are. These are the guys that were fighting. And they're having a good time.
So did you have like guards there and everything?
Oh yeah, we had guards.
Because you're afraid they come out.
Army guards, regular United States Army guards with rifles. They'd walk around all around the fairgrounds. One would walk 20 feet, another one would follow. But they couldn't do nothing anyway. If they escaped, where would they go? They had no rifles.
Well, they can go out in the town. They can just escape.
And then there was a meat market on Washington Avenue, and I was walking by there with another guy. That's after I come back, when I got sick. And here they were cleaning the sidewalks. That meat market was butchering his own, and they were helping out these prisoners of war. There were 8 of them. And one of the guys that was with me, he was a comical guy. He never was in the service. He'd walk with me, and then he'd holler, "Achtung!" And they forgot. They dropped their rifles and their brooms. They were cleaning out the sidewalks from the blood now on 2nd Street.
Who was this guy that yelled at?
Jesse, his name was.
And he did that.
I don't want to tell him the name, but he's dead now anyway.
He did that to the German soldiers?
You know what Achtung mean? Attention.
Oh.
You walk by like they were up there working a dollar. Achtung! So you had to go to attention like that. In American it was attend. I laughed. And that was awful. One stripe, you were first class sergeant. Corporal goes after the first class sergeant. That's the corporal. He takes care of 4 men.
And that's 2 stripes?
And I got 3 stripes.
That's the sergeant.
Sergeant, but I never had any extra ones. They're on my coat. Oh, you want to see my coat?
Yeah, show us your coat.
It's in the garage. Shut it out.
Okay. That's the coat.
That's the sergeant stripes. See?
Mm-hmm.
And these are some of them are on here yet, but see, some of them are gone. One here, one here. And my medals, 2 stripes with good conduct and all that, they're gone. Hey, maybe I can find some money here. That'd be something if I found some money here. Now look at this coat. It's, look how heavy that is. Of course, shoes, and we had those, what do you call these? I forgot. See. Like the old time cops used to wear. Now this was given to me when I first joined, when I first got in. We were given our outfits at Fort Lewis, Washington. That's on the West Coast. First of all, we'd get shots. One doctor was here, another doctor was on this side. You'd go, one doctor would give you a shot here, another one would give you here. You'd go another 2 or 3 feet, you'd get another shot. That was enough. And then we'd go in a building where they had shoes, clothes, everything. They didn't care if the shoes fit or not. I had blisters on my feet almost every day. They were oversized shoes. They'd give you shoes, socks, they'd throw them at you, blankets, and your other coats and stuff like that. This was a mile too big. After I lost all of the weight, I guess what?
Thanks for watching. See you soon.